World War I, otherwise known as the Great War, is an untold story for many. It is an event in the past, yet is still so alive. A large number of people from the area of Easthampton joined or were drafted into the Army, Navy, or Marines. There was also a large amount of Easthampton High School graduates and students who fought in this war. From participating as nurses to lieutenants, these Easthampton students put themselves on the line for their country and, for most, the hometown of Easthampton. The trigger of World War I was the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austria-Hungary throne, by a Serbian assassin. This led Austria-Hungary to then declare war on Serbia. As an ally to Austria-Hungary, Germany declared war on both Russia, an ally to Serbia, and France. It wasn't until 1917 that America declared war against Germany under President Woodrow Wilson. Germany repeatedly attacked ships with Americans on them, such as the Lusitania, Arabic, and Sussex. American neutrality was pushed to its final limit when British intelligence intercepted a telegram sent to the Mexican government by the Germans. This telegram, called the Zimmermann telegram, asked the Mexican government to ally itself with Germany, and in return, Germany would help Mexico take back lost territories from America.
When the United States declared war, Easthampton High School students soon left the school and fought the war both voluntarily and by the draft. Around 60 Easthampton High School students fought in World War I. Juniors, seniors, and previous graduates all joined the war effort. Many of the soldiers of the surrounding area were put into the 104th Infantry Regiment, 26th Division, also nicknamed the Yankee Division. Back at EHS, students pulled together to support the boys who left and tried to help the war effort any way they could. EHS participated in bond selling, and by the time the Third Liberty Bond campaign started, the principal at the time started a committee with the sole goal to selling as many bonds as possible. Easthampton's yearbook of 1918 describes how the thrift stamp campaign started. Every one of us bought and sold as many stamps as we could. EHS averaged $50 worth of stamps a week and even had a stamp day at school. EHS had 135 junior members and several senior members of the Red Cross and had a day dedicated to the Red Cross at school. The Alumni Association organized a play and donated the profits to the war effort. $100 to the Liberty Bond, $150 to the Red Cross, and bought writing kits for the Easthampton boys abroad. Back at home, the boys from Easthampton had full support from the high school and towns alike.
During September 1914, Germans seized the Argonne Forest and strategic areas such as above the Meuse River and the Woevre Plain. Germans prepared for the French to attempt to take back their land and fortified 200 square miles with sophisticated steps, drainage systems, sniper galleries, and gun shelters. In Bois Brule, woods near Appermont, in the Ardennes, the French fought for 4 years, attempting to overcome the Germans' more advanced weaponry and strategies. But the 104th made history as they accomplished what the French had been trying for 4 years in several days. The 104th were heavily bombed by the Germans, stuck in trenches they had nowhere to run. They countered and engaged in hand-to-hand combat, successfully driving the Germans out. For the valor of the 104th, they were given the Croix de Guerre by the French, and it was put on the regimental flag. In addition, 117 members received it as well. It was the very first time an American unit was honored by a foreign government for their bravery in combat. Soldiers in World War I had to face deadly conditions of the trenches. Dirty, damp, filled with disease-carrying rats, the trenches were a disgusting and horrible place. The dampness of the trenches caused many soldiers to experience trench foot.
When Abner Lawrence Clark, a student from EHS, was killed in battle, the whole town in EHS dedicated a service flag with a gold star for Clark and mourned the loss. The yearbook of 1918 has a very touching quote about Clark, stating, "No one thought that his name would be the first upon the dreaded, died of disease telegram. The town and school mourn the loss of a quiet, affectionate soul."
A fellow friend of Abner was Frank Ardaly. He was corporal of the 104th Regiment. The people back home were filled with great pride and joy to find out that Frank was one of the 17 members of the Yankee Division that were honored with the Croix de Guerre for his valor and bravery. 2 times under heavy bombardment, he ran to make sure his fellow troops had a strong ammunition supply. There are many of Frank's letters home in which he tells of his experiences. Frank describes his experience with his French-British troops as,
"We have formed such a compact unit with our comrades, the English and the French, that nothing can happen that in any way affects the morale of such a fighting body."
Showing his respect and camaraderie further, he also writes,
"To claim them as the representatives of our mother country, we are proud."
Frank Daly was very brave and was under fire many a time. He describes his experience of losing people around him in the killing as,
"Up comes a head. Bang go 3 guns and 1 Boche hit the dust. A moment later, another head rises and falls for the last time. Of course, it was impossible to do all of this without losing men. We did lose them, and although most were forced to pay the price of life. Poor Irving was one of those unfortunates, but his death was a wonderful example of patriotism." Since any last letter some few days ago, I have had some experiences. Over the top, digging in, pushing, driving, taking prisoners, and killing. Without someone to fight for, there would be no fighting. Without someone to support the army, there could be no army.
Hugh N. Parker was a sergeant of the 104th Regiment. A letter from Parker contains some of his experience. He says,
"I'm writing to tell you that the boys from Easthampton are getting along all right. There have been dark hours for the boys lately, marching all night, going into the trenches at the end of the march, and going on guard when all you can hear is the whiz-bang and the putty-put-put of machine guns. The boys, when they hear a shell come singing, say it has a message, death for someone, but we are pretty well used to them now. I saw a shell land in the front of my dugout when there was a soldier about 20 feet away. The explosion threw him flat on his face and covered him with mud."
The dedication that was shown by the schools in town alike show how important these people meant to them. Their sacrifices were nothing less of amazing. The differences in their experiences could have been sadly life or death. It could have been losing a friend or fearing a battle. It could have been being at the wrong place at the wrong time. No matter what made their experiences different or more challenging from one another, they all fought for the same purpose and kept the same American ideas. These Easthampton High School students were those to be remembered. From the days they fought in the war and even to their graves, the bravery and soul of these people are forever honored each and every day. As Frank Daly had said, without someone to fight for, there would be no fighting. Without someone to support the army, there would be no army. The support was endless.